My cousin brought my ex to my wedding as their plus one. The bouquet trembled in my hands as I stared across the reception hall, watching my cousin Maya laugh and clink champagne glasses with the one person who should never have been here. Derek. My ex. The man who'd spent 3 years systematically destroying my self-worth before I finally found the courage to leave him 8 months ago. Breathe, Sarah, my maid of honor whispered, steadying my elbow. Don't let them see you rattled. But I was beyond rattled. I was furious. Maya had RSVP'd for Maya plus one 6 weeks ago, and when I'd asked who she was bringing, she'd been deliberately vague. Just someone I'd been seeing, she'd said with that innocent smile I now realized was anything but innocent. She knew exactly what she was doing. The worst part? Derek looked good. Damn him. His dark hair was freshly cut, he was wearing the navy suit I'd helped him pick out for his job interview last year, and he had that confident smirk that used to make me weak in the knees before I learned it meant he was plotting something cruel. Sarah. My Aunt Linda appeared at my side, her face flushed with champagne and confusion. Honey, isn't that Derek over there with Maya? I thought you two broke up months ago. We did. I kept my voice level, but inside I was screaming. Apparently Maya decided to bring him as her date. Aunt Linda's mouth fell open. She what? After everything he put you through? The cheating? The way he... I know, Aunt Linda. I cut her off gently. The last thing I needed was a recap of Derek's greatest hits on my wedding day. The two-timing with his coworker Jessica. The gaslighting that made me question my own memory. The way he'd isolated me from friends by picking fights whenever I tried to make plans without him. My new husband Jake appeared beside me, his jaw tight with barely controlled anger. I just heard from your cousin Brett. Maya's been telling people Derek is her new boyfriend. They've apparently been together for 2 months. 2 months. Which meant Maya had started seeing Derek just 6 months after my brutal breakup with him. 6 months after I'd sobbed in her apartment, telling her every horrible detail of how he'd manipulated me, how he'd cheated with multiple women, how he'd made me feel like I was crazy for questioning obvious lies. She knew, I said quietly, the pieces clicking into place. When she RSVP'd, she already knew she was bringing him. This isn't some coincidence or poor judgment call. This was planned. Jake's hand found mine, his wedding ring catching the light from the crystal chandeliers my mother had insisted on. What do you want to do? I can have my groomsmen escort them out right now. I watched Maya throw her head back in exaggerated laughter at something Derek said, her hand possessively on his arm. She caught my eye across the room and raised her glass in a mock toast, her smile sharp as broken glass. In that moment, I saw her clearly for the first time, not my quirky, fun cousin who'd been my partner in crime growing up, but someone who resented me enough to weaponize my trauma on the most important day of my life. No, I said, my voice steadying with newfound resolve. They want a show? I'll give them a show. The microphone for the reception speeches was waiting at the head table. And I had some things to say. The next 20 minutes felt like an eternity. I moved through the motions, cutting the cake with Jake, posing for photos with his family, accepting congratulations from guests, but my attention kept drifting back to Maya and Derek's table. They positioned themselves strategically near the dance floor where everyone could see them, and Maya was putting on the performance of her life. She kept touching him. Running her fingers through his hair, leaning into his shoulder, whispering in his ear loud enough that nearby tables could hear her giggle. It was all so deliberate, so calculated to draw attention. But what made my blood boil was watching Derek eat it up. He had his arm draped around her chair, that same possessive gesture he used to make with me in public while texting other women under the table. Sarah, honey, you look pale, my mom said, appearing with a plate of hors d'oeuvres I had no appetite for. Are you feeling all right? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with a text from my best friend Megan, who was at the bar getting drinks. Asterisk you need to know, I just overheard Maya on the phone in the bathroom. She was talking to someone named Jessica, laughing about how Sarah's face was priceless when she saw Derek. She said, quote, I told you this would be epic, and something about she had this coming. Sarah, this was planned with other people. Asterisk. Jessica. Derek's coworker. The same Jessica he'd cheated on me with repeatedly before I finally caught them together in his apartment last December. My hand started shaking as the full scope of this betrayal hit me. This wasn't just Maya bringing Derek to hurt me, this was a coordinated effort involving the woman who'd helped destroy my previous relationship. I need a minute, I told my mom, heading toward the bridal suite where I could think clearly. But as I passed Maya's table, I heard something that stopped me cold. Told Sarah I was seeing someone new, and she actually wished me luck finding happiness, Maya was saying to Derek and 2 of my aunts who'd stopped by their table. She's always been so supportive of my relationships. When Derek and I reconnected on Instagram and started talking, it felt like fate, you know? My Aunt Carol nodded sympathetically. It's so mature of you both to find love after difficult breakups. And Sarah seems to be handling it well. I watched Maya's eyes glitter with malicious satisfaction as she continued her performance. Sarah and Derek have both grown so much since their relationship ended. Water under the bridge, right Derek? Derek nodded solemnly, playing the part of the reformed ex-boyfriend. We all want what's best for each other. I'm just happy Sarah found someone who makes her as happy as Maya makes me. The sheer audacity was breathtaking. They were rewriting history in real time, turning this calculated cruelty into a heartwarming story of mature adults moving forward. Maya was positioning herself as a gracious cousin who'd found love with a reformed man, while I was cast as the supportive bride who'd given her blessing. My Aunt Carol beamed at them. You know, I was worried this might be awkward, but you're all handling this so beautifully. Maya, your mother must be so proud of how thoughtfully you've navigated this situation. Actually, Maya said, her voice carrying just far enough for me to hear, Sarah specifically told me she wanted Derek to see how well she was doing. She said it would be healing for all of us. That was it. The final lie that broke something inside me. I turned on my heel and walked straight to the head table where the microphone waited, my wedding dress rustling with each determined step. I reached for the microphone, but Jake's hand intercepted mine before I could grab it. Sarah, wait, he whispered urgently, pulling me aside. I know you're furious, and you have every right to be, but think about this for a second. Once you say whatever you're planning to say, you can't take it back. Good, I hissed, but he held firm. Your grandmother is here. Your mom's entire side of the family. Are you sure you want to do this now, like this? Before I could answer, my cousin Brett appeared at my elbow, slightly out of breath. Sarah, I need to tell you something. I just got off the phone with my sister Emma, you know, Maya's older sister. She's been trying to call Maya all day but couldn't get through. Brett, not now. No, listen. Emma said Maya's been planning this for months. Apparently Derek reached out to Maya on Facebook right after your engagement announcement went live. Emma saw the message thread on Maya's laptop when she was visiting last month. Derek specifically asked Maya to help him get closure by attending your wedding. Jake's grip on my arm tightened. What kind of closure? The sick kind, Brett continued, his voice dropping lower. Emma said Derek was furious when he heard about your engagement. He told Maya that Sarah always thought she was too good for everyone and needed to be brought down a peg. Maya ate it up because she's been jealous of Sarah since we were kids. My stomach lurched. Jealous of what? Everything. The full scholarship to state. Landing the marketing job at Morrison and Associates straight out of college. This whole wedding, Brett gestured around the elegant reception hall. Emma said Maya's been bitter for years that Sarah gets everything handed to her while Maya's been struggling with student loans and dead-end jobs. Jake shook his head in disbelief. So she decided to ruin our wedding? It gets worse, Brett said grimly. Emma found printed screenshots of Sarah's Instagram posts from the last 8 months. Maya and Derek have been analyzing every photo, every caption, planning how to cause maximum damage today. They know exactly which relatives don't know the full story about Derek's cheating, which ones would be most shocked to see them together. The reception continued around us, oblivious to this conversation. I watched my elderly grandparents chatting with Jake's parents, my coworkers from Morrison and Associates taking selfies by the chocolate fountain, my college roommates attempting the electric slide despite being 3 drinks deep. Everyone was having the magical evening I'd spent 14 months planning and saving for. Everyone except me. There's more, Brett said reluctantly. Emma thinks Maya might be recording reactions on her phone. She's been obsessed with exposing fake people on social media lately. This whole thing might end up on TikTok or Instagram. My blood ran cold. Maya had 3,000 followers on Instagram and had recently started a TikTok account where she posted lifestyle content and drama from her job at a local salon. The idea of my wedding day humiliation becoming content for her social media empire made me physically ill. That's it, I said, reaching for the microphone again. I'm ending this right now. But as I looked out over the reception, I realized Maya and Derek had vanished from their table. I scanned the room frantically, the dance floor, the bar, the photo booth corner. Where did they go? I asked Jake, panic creeping into my voice. That's when I heard Maya's distinctive laugh echoing from the direction of the bridal suite hallway. My blood turned to ice as I realized what she might be doing back there, in the private areas of the venue where my personal belongings were stored. Oh hell no, I muttered, hiking up my wedding dress and heading for the hallway. I found them in the bridal suite, but what they were doing was so much worse than I'd imagined. Maya had my phone in her hands, scrolling through my photos while Derek peered over her shoulder. My personal phone that I'd left charging on the vanity next to my emergency makeup kit and the handwritten vows I'd spent weeks perfecting. Oh, this one's perfect, Maya was saying, holding up my phone to show Derek a photo. Look how fake her smile looks in this engagement shoot. And the way she's gripping Jake's arm? Desperate much? Derek chuckled, that same cruel laugh I remembered from our worst fights. Send that one to yourself. Jessica will die when she sees how try-hard Sarah's being. Already did. Oh, and I got screenshots of her text thread with her maid of honor from this morning. So much bridezilla anxiety. What if the flowers aren't right? What if it rains? What if the photographer's late? Maya mimicked my voice in a high-pitched whine that made my skin crawl. They hadn't noticed me yet, too absorbed in their violation of my privacy. I stood frozen in the doorway, watching my cousin, someone I'd shared childhood secrets with, someone who'd been in my wedding party at my first courthouse ceremony rehearsal, treat my most personal moments like entertainment. Did you find the folder I told you about? Derek asked, moving closer to Maya. The one labeled Jake stuff? My heart stopped. That folder contained screenshots of Jake's and my early dating app conversations, photos from our first vacation, even pictures of the engagement ring shopping trip that Jake's sister had sent me. Private moments that were never meant for anyone else's eyes. Got it, Maya said, her thumb swiping rapidly. God, she saved everything. Look at this cringe text thread from when they first started dating. I can't wait to see you tonight, beautiful. Ugh, Jake's even more pathetic than I thought. Perfect. Make sure you get the one where she's talking about her dress budget. $15,000 for one day? My mom's going to lose her mind when she hears how much Sarah's family spent on this circus. $15,000 was a complete lie. My dress had cost $800 from a sample sale, and Jake and I had paid for most of the wedding ourselves. But Derek had always been a master at twisting truth into whatever narrative served his purposes. That's when Maya looked up and saw me standing there. Oh, she said, not even having the decency to look embarrassed. Sarah. We were just looking for you. With my phone in your hands? Maya glanced down at my device like she'd forgotten she was holding it. It was buzzing so much, we thought it might be an emergency. We were trying to find you to give it back. The lie was so transparent, so insulting to my intelligence, that I almost laughed. Almost. Really? Because I heard you talking about sending my photos to Jessica and discussing my dress budget. Derek stood up from the velvet chair where he'd been lounging, straightening his tie with practiced nonchalance. Sarah, I think you misunderstood what you heard. We were just. I know exactly what I heard. I stepped into the room and held out my hand. My phone. Now. Maya hesitated for just a moment too long before handing it over. That hesitation told me everything I needed to know about what she'd already sent to herself. Look, this is getting blown way out of proportion, Derek said, using the same condescending tone that used to make me doubt my own perceptions. Maya and I came back here because she was feeling overwhelmed by all the family drama. You know how weddings can be emotional for everyone. What family drama? Maya and Derek exchanged a look that made my stomach drop. Well, Maya said slowly, some people have been asking questions about Derek and me being here together. Making assumptions. It's been really uncomfortable. I felt like I was watching a tennis match, my head turning between them as they built their narrative in real time. What kind of assumptions? That we're somehow trying to hurt you, Derek said with fake earnestness. Which is crazy, because we both want nothing but happiness for you and Jake. The sheer audacity of his words made something snap inside me. You want nothing but happiness for me? Derek, you spent 3 years making me miserable. You cheated on me with at least 4 different women that I know of, including Jessica. You made me think I was crazy for questioning obvious lies. And now you're standing in my bridal suite on my wedding day, going through my personal phone with my cousin, talking about how pathetic my husband is. That's not what happened, Maya said quickly, but her voice wavered. We were just. I heard every word. I looked directly at her, this person I'd grown up with, shared family vacations with, confided in during my darkest moments after Derek. You called Jake pathetic. You lied about my dress costing $15,000. You sent my private photos to yourself so you could share them with Jessica. Derek stepped forward, and I instinctively backed toward the door. That small movement, that automatic flinch, reminded me exactly why I'd left him in the first place. Sarah, you're being paranoid again, he said, his voice taking on that patient tone he used to use when he was gaslighting me. This is exactly the kind of behavior that caused problems in our relationship. Don't. The word came out sharper than I intended. Don't you dare try to psychoanalyze me or blame me for your actions. Not today. Not ever again. Maya was frantically typing on her own phone, and I realized she was probably texting someone, maybe Jessica, maybe that sister Emma that Brett had mentioned, maybe posting about this confrontation in real time. Who are you texting? I demanded. Just letting people know everything's fine, Maya said without looking up. Some family members were worried about you when you disappeared. Another lie. I'd been gone for less than 10 minutes, and Maya had no way of knowing anyone was looking for me unless she'd planned this whole scenario in advance. That's when it hit me. You wanted me to find you here. They both looked up, startled. You weren't hiding. You were in the most obvious place possible, my bridal suite, where you knew I'd eventually come. You wanted me to catch you going through my phone. You wanted this confrontation. Derek's mask slipped for just a second, and I saw a flicker of the cruel satisfaction I remembered from our worst fights. Sarah. No, think about it. Maya could have gone through my phone anywhere. The bathroom, outside, even at your table. But you came here, left the door open, talked loud enough for me to hear you in the hallway. You wanted me to find you so you could record my reaction. I looked at Maya's phone, still clutched in her hand. Are you recording right now? Don't be ridiculous, she said, but she shifted the phone away from me. Show me your screen. Sarah, you're being crazy. Show me your screen. My voice echoed off the suite's walls, louder than I'd intended. Maya reluctantly turned her phone toward me, and my heart sank. The voice memo app was open, with a recording that had been running for the last 4 minutes and 37 seconds. She'd captured our entire confrontation, including Derek's gaslighting attempts and my increasingly frantic responses. You're recording me having a breakdown on my wedding day, I said quietly. For what? TikTok content? To prove what a bridezilla I am? It's not like that, Maya said, but she didn't stop the recording. I just wanted to protect myself in case you tried to twist what really happened here. What really happened is that I caught you and my abusive ex-boyfriend violating my privacy and mocking my marriage in my bridal suite. I could hear voices in the hallway now, Jake calling my name, footsteps approaching. And instead of apologizing, you're recording me to use against me later. Derek moved toward the door like he was planning to leave, but I stepped in front of him. Oh no. You don't get to slink away now. You came here to cause drama? Let's give everyone the full story. The footsteps in the hallway were getting closer, and I could hear Jake's voice more clearly now, along with what sounded like my dad and maybe Brett. Maya finally stopped the recording, but I'd seen enough. These weren't people who'd made a mistake or shown poor judgment. These were people who'd planned to humiliate me on the most important day of my life and document it for their own entertainment. The door burst open, and Jake appeared with my dad, Brett, and my maid of honor close behind. Sarah, there you are, Jake said, relief flooding his voice. Then he saw Maya still holding her phone and Derek standing by the window like a trapped animal. What's going on? I looked at my husband, my family, my cousin, and my ex. Everyone waiting for my answer. It was time to tell the truth. They've been recording me, I said, my voice surprisingly steady despite the tremor in my hands. Maya has a 4.5-minute voice recording of me confronting them about going through my personal phone and sending my private photos to Derek's ex-girlfriend Jessica. Jake's face went white, then red. They what? It gets better, I continued, feeling a strange calm wash over me now that the truth was finally coming out. Apparently this whole thing has been planned for months. Derek contacted Maya right after our engagement announcement went live on Facebook. They'd been analyzing my Instagram posts, planning which family members to target with their little performance, and Maya's sister Emma found printed screenshots of my social media on Maya's laptop. My dad looked like he was about to have a stroke. Maya Elizabeth Morrison, is this true? Maya's face crumpled, and for a second I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Uncle Tom, it's not what it sounds like. Sarah's upset and she's twisting everything. Show him the recording, I interrupted. Play it back so everyone can hear exactly what Derek said about Jake being pathetic and what you said about my dress costing $15,000. I'm not playing anything, Maya said, clutching her phone to her chest. This is a private conversation. Brett stepped forward, his jaw set in a way that reminded me of our grandfather when he was furious. Maya, I just got off the phone with Emma 20 minutes ago. She told me everything. About the Facebook messages, about Derek asking you to help him get closure, about you planning this for months. Emma's lying, Derek said quickly, but his voice had lost that confident edge. She's always had it out for Maya because Maya's been telling people for years that Sarah gets everything handed to her while Maya struggles, my dad said coldly. Is that what you were going to say, Derek? The silence stretched for several seconds. I could hear the reception continuing in the distance, the DJ playing September by Earth, Wind and Fire, the sound of my guests laughing and dancing while my family imploded in a luxury hotel bridal suite. Look, Derek said, switching tactics to the remorseful ex-boyfriend routine I'd seen a dozen times. Maybe I made some mistakes in how I handled this. I thought enough time had passed that we could all be adults about it. I never meant to cause problems on your wedding day, Sarah. You told Maya I needed to be brought down a peg, I said flatly. Brett heard it directly from Emma, who saw your Facebook messages. You're not here for closure, Derek. You're here because you're angry that I moved on and found someone who actually loves me. Jake moved closer to me, his presence solid and reassuring. And you, he said, looking directly at Maya, helped him plan this because you resent Sarah's success. Her scholarship, her job, this wedding, Brett laid it all out. Maya's composure finally cracked completely. You want to know the truth? Fine. Yes, I'm tired of Saint Sarah getting everything she wants while the rest of us struggle. Do you know what it's like watching your cousin get a full ride to college while you're drowning in student loans? Watching her land her dream job straight out of school while you're cutting hair at a strip mall salon? So you decided to team up with my abusive ex to ruin my wedding day? I asked incredulously. Derek's not abusive, Maya shot back. He told me how controlling and paranoid you were. How you went through his phone, accused him of cheating when he was just being friendly with coworkers. Maya, my dad's voice cut through her words like ice. Derek cheated on Sarah with at least 4 different women. We know this because Sarah came to us crying after she caught him in bed with his coworker Jessica last December. Are you telling us Derek lied to you about why they broke up? I watched the color drain from Maya's face as the reality of Derek's manipulation hit her. For all her plotting and jealousy, she genuinely believed his version of our relationship. He said Sarah was jealous and possessive, she whispered. That she couldn't handle him having female friends. And you believed him over your own family, Brett said disgustedly. Even after Sarah told you exactly what he put her through. Derek was edging toward the door again, clearly ready to abandon Maya now that his lies were unraveling. But my maid of honor Jenna had positioned herself in the doorway, arms crossed, blocking his exit. Oh no, Jenna said sweetly. You're not leaving until we figure out exactly what you two were planning to do with those photos and recordings. Maya's phone buzzed with an incoming call. The name Jessica W. flashed on the screen, and everyone in the room saw it. Answer it, Jake said. Put it on speaker. Let's see what your co-conspirator has to say. Maya stared at her buzzing phone like it was a venomous snake. Jessica's name continued flashing on the screen while we all waited in tense silence. Answer it, my dad repeated, his voice carrying the authority that used to make us kids straighten up during family dinners. If you're going to destroy my daughter's wedding day, the least you can do is let us hear the whole plan. I'm not answering anything, Maya said, but her voice shook. She declined the call, but it immediately started ringing again. Derek finally spoke up, desperation creeping into his tone. Look, maybe we got carried away. Maya was upset about some family stuff, and I was trying to be supportive. By going through my wife's phone? Jake interrupted. By calling me pathetic? By sending her private photos to your side piece? Jessica isn't my, Derek caught himself, but it was too late. Isn't your what? I asked. Your girlfriend? Because Maya just spent the last hour telling everyone you two are madly in love. But if Jessica isn't your side piece anymore, that means she's your main girlfriend, doesn't it? The phone stopped ringing, then immediately chimed with a text message. Maya glanced at it automatically, and I saw her face go completely white. What does it say? Brett demanded. Maya clutched the phone tighter. It's nothing. Just Jessica wondering if we're still on for drinks later. Show us, Jenna said, stepping closer. If it's just about drinks, you won't mind sharing. But Maya was backing toward the window now, phone pressed against her chest. I don't have to show you anything. This is harassment. That's when my phone buzzed with a notification. Then Jake's phone. Then Brett's. Oh God, Jenna whispered, looking at her screen. Sarah, check your Instagram. My hands trembled as I opened the app. There, posted to Jessica Williams' story 20 minutes ago, was a screenshot of my engagement photo with a caption, when your ex upgrades to basic but thinks she's bougie nail polish some people really peaked in high school, lol. She posted about me, I said, my voice barely audible. While I was walking down the aisle, Jessica was posting about me on social media. Jake read over my shoulder, his jaw clenching. There's more. She tagged Maya in it. I scrolled to Maya's story, feeling sick. There was a photo of Derek in his wedding guest attire with the caption, when Bae cleans up nice for his ex's wedding smiling face with horns about to remind everyone who he really belongs with. But the worst part was the next slide, a screenshot of what looked like my text thread with my maid of honor from this morning, the one I'd sent about being nervous about the weather. Jessica had somehow gotten hold of it and posted it with crying laughing emojis and the caption, Bridezilla much? Imagine being this pressed about a little rain cloud with rain. Maya, I said quietly, how did Jessica get screenshots of my private text messages? Maya was crying now, mascara streaming down her cheeks. I didn't know she was going to post them. She just wanted to see what you were really like behind all the perfect Instagram photos. You sent her my private conversations with my maid of honor? Just a few. She said it would help her understand why Derek was so messed up after your relationship. She wanted to see if you were as controlling as he said. Derek was frantically typing on his own phone now, probably trying to get Jessica to take down the posts. Jessica, stop, he muttered. This wasn't the plan. What was the plan? My dad asked dangerously. Derek looked up, realizing he'd said too much. There was no plan. Maya's confused. She's been drinking, Anne. I've had 1 glass of champagne, Maya snapped, apparently deciding to take Derek down with her now that Jessica had thrown them both under the bus. And don't pretend this was my idea. You contacted me, remember? You said Sarah needed a reality check about how her perfect life wasn't as perfect as she thought. A reality check on my wedding day? I couldn't keep the hurt out of my voice anymore. Maya, what did I ever do to you? When you needed money for your car repair last year, I lent you $800. When you were going through that bad breakup with Connor, I let you stay in my guest room for 6 weeks. When you got food poisoning and missed your friend's wedding, I drove you soup and medicine every day for a week. And you never let me forget it. Maya exploded. Saint Sarah to the rescue again. Always there to help poor, struggling Maya with her pathetic problems. Do you know how humiliating it is to need your younger cousin to bail you out constantly? So you decided to humiliate me instead? I decided to show everyone that you're not perfect. That your fairy tale life has some cracks in it too. Brett stepped between us before I could respond. Maya, you need to leave. Now. And Derek, if you're not out of this hotel in the next 10 minutes, I'm calling security. Derek straightened his tie one last time, trying to salvage some dignity. This is insane. We came to a wedding, Maya got emotional, and now you're all acting like we committed some crime. You violated my privacy, mocked my marriage, coordinated with a third party to humiliate me on social media, and recorded me without consent, I said, ticking off each point on my fingers. In some states, that last part is actually illegal. Maya's phone buzzed again. This time, the caller ID read Mom. Answer it, my dad said grimly. Let's see what your mother has to say about her daughter's behavior when the whole family starts seeing Jessica's Instagram posts. As Maya reluctantly reached for the phone, I realized this nightmare was just beginning. Maya stared at her buzzing phone like it might explode. Mom flashed insistently on the screen while we all waited in the suffocating silence of the bridal suite. She's not going to answer, Derek said, moving toward the door again. This has gotten completely out of hand. Maya, we should go. But my dad stepped in front of him, and despite being in his 60s, my father still cut an intimidating figure. You're not going anywhere until we figure out how to fix what you've done to my daughter's wedding day. The phone stopped ringing, then immediately started again. This time, Brett's phone lit up too, displaying Aunt Carol, Maya's mom. Oh God, Maya whispered. She's calling everyone. What do you think happens when you post about family drama on Instagram? Jake asked coldly. Did you seriously believe none of our relatives would see Jessica's stories? I checked my Instagram again, my stomach dropping further with each new notification. The posts had been shared to someone's main feed now, not just stories. Jessica had screenshot her own story posts and made them permanent, adding new captions. The drama when basic girls think they're queen's crown and some weddings are just expensive costume parties for fake people clownface. But worse than Jessica's posts were the comments starting to appear from people I recognized. Derek's friends from his old job. Random people I'd never heard of. And most horrifying of all, someone named Connor M., Maya's ex-boyfriend, had commented Maya always said her cousin was fake AF. Guess she was right, faced with tears of joy. Maya, I said, my voice deadly quiet, how many people have you been talking to about me? It's not like that, she stammered, but her eyes wouldn't meet mine. Connor's commenting on Jessica's posts about me. Your ex-boyfriend from 2 years ago somehow knows enough about our family drama to call me fake on social media. How is that possible unless you've been trashing me to people for years? Brett was scrolling through his own phone now, his face growing darker by the second. Sarah, there's more. Someone named Amanda Chin shared Jessica's story to her feed with the caption, when you know the real tea about someone's perfect life. And Maya liked it. I don't know an Amanda Chan, I said, looking at Maya. Who is she? Maya's phone rang again, this time showing Emma on the screen. Her sister, the one who'd apparently tried to warn people about this plan. Answer it, my dad commanded. Right now, or I'm walking out to that reception and telling everyone exactly what happened here. With shaking hands, Maya accepted the call and put it on speaker. Maya Elizabeth Morrison, what the hell have you done? Emma's voice crackled through the phone. Mom's getting calls from 3 different relatives asking why Jessica Williams is posting about Sarah's wedding on Instagram. Aunt Linda is crying because she thinks Sarah's marriage is already falling apart. Grandma Rose saw the posts and she's having chest pains. My heart stopped. Grandma Rose is having chest pains? She's okay, Emma said quickly, but she's 84 years old, Maya. She saw some stranger on the internet calling her granddaughter fake and basic on her wedding day, and she thought something terrible had happened. Derek was frantically typing again, sweat beading on his forehead. Jessica's not answering my texts. I can't get her to take the posts down. Maybe because she's busy adding to them, Jenna said grimly, showing us her phone. She just posted a video. We all crowded around Jenna's screen as a shaky video started playing. It was Jessica, clearly several drinks in, holding up what looked like a printed photo. So this is the girl who thought she was too good for my Derek, Jessica slurred into the camera. Miss Perfect with her fancy wedding and her marketing job. But look what my friend Maya found on her phone. The camera focused on what I realized was a screenshot of a text conversation, one of the private messages Maya had stolen from my phone. Little Miss Bride having a complete meltdown because her flowers might not be perfect. What if people think I'm a bridezilla? What if the photos look wrong? Girl, newsflash, you are a bridezilla, and your photos look like a discount fairy tale. The video kept playing, Jessica getting more animated and cruel with each passing second. In the background, I could hear other voices laughing and encouraging her. Turn it off, I whispered, but no one moved. On the screen, Jessica held up another screenshot. Oh, and this one's my favorite. Sarah texting about how she hopes Derek doesn't somehow find out about the wedding and try to ruin it. Well, sweetie, he didn't find out, he got invited. And guess what? Your day is ruined anyway because everyone can see what a fake, controlling little princess you really are. The video ended with Jessica and her friends toasting to real girls who don't need $15,000 dresses to feel special. In the silence that followed, I could hear my heart pounding in my ears. Maya, Emma's voice came through the phone speaker. Please tell me you didn't really give this woman Sarah's private messages. Maya was sobbing now, but I felt no sympathy left for her. How many people are at Jessica's house right now? I asked quietly. How many people just watched her mock me on Instagram Live? Derek finally looked up from his phone, his face gray. I can't reach her. Her phone's going straight to voicemail. That's when I realized the most terrifying truth of all. This wasn't over. It was just getting started. My phone started buzzing incessantly with notifications, Instagram, Facebook, text messages, missed calls. Jake's phone was doing the same thing, creating a cacophony of digital chaos in the bridal suite. It's spreading, I said numbly, watching the notification count climb. Jessica's video has been shared 47 times in the last 10 minutes. Emma's voice crackled through Maya's speakerphone. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I tried calling Maya this morning when I realized what she was planning, but she wouldn't answer. I should have called you directly. This morning? My dad's voice was dangerously quiet. You knew about this plan this morning and didn't warn anyone? I didn't think Maya would actually go through with it. She's been jealous and bitter, but I never thought she'd do something this cruel. When I saw the Facebook messages between her and Derek last month, I told her she was being insane. Derek's phone finally rang, and Jessica's name appeared on the screen. He lunged for it like a lifeline. Jessica, thank God. You need to delete those posts right now. This has gone way too far. Even from across the room, we could hear Jessica's drunken laughter through the phone. Too far? Derek, baby, this is just getting good. You should see the comments rolling in. Everyone's eating this up. What comments? I asked, but I was already opening Instagram with shaking fingers. The comment count under Jessica's video had exploded to over 200. I scrolled through them, each one feeling like a physical blow. Yikes, imagine spending that much on a wedding just to marry some basic dude. The secondhand embarrassment is real. Why do mediocre girls always think they're Disney princesses? Her cousin is doing God's work exposing this fake queen. But then I saw something that made my blood freeze. Someone had found my business Instagram, the professional account I used for my marketing job at Morrison & Associates. They found my work account, I whispered. Someone tagged Morrison & Associates asking if this is how their employees really act. Jake grabbed my phone, his face going white as he read the comments. Sarah, they're tagging your boss. They're tagging the CEO. My career flashed before my eyes. Morrison & Associates was a prestigious firm with a conservative client base. My boss, Patricia Morrison, was extremely particular about the company's public image. We'd had mandatory meetings about social media conduct and how our personal lives reflected on the business. How did they find my work account? I asked Maya desperately. It's not linked to my personal Instagram. Maya hiccuped through her tears. Derek asked me to find everything about you online. Your LinkedIn, your work stuff, your college alumni page. He said he wanted to understand who you'd become since you broke up. You gave him my entire digital footprint? The betrayal cut deeper than I thought possible. Maya, that's not just cruel, that's dangerous. You gave my abusive ex-boyfriend a roadmap to every aspect of my life. Brett was typing furiously on his phone. I'm texting every family member I can reach, trying to get ahead of this before more people see the posts. It's too late for damage control, Jenna said grimly. Look at this. She held up her phone showing a new Instagram story from someone named Wedding Fails Daily, apparently a popular account that shared wedding disaster stories. They'd reposted Jessica's video with the caption, Bride gets exposed by her own family at her wedding skull, the drama is unreal. 43,000 followers, I read aloud. This stranger's wedding disaster account just shared my humiliation with 43,000 people. Derek was still on the phone with Jessica, his voice getting more frantic. You need to delete everything right now. Sarah's work is getting tagged. This isn't funny anymore. Oh, it's hilarious, Jessica's voice carried clearly through the speaker. Little Miss Perfect finally getting what she deserves. Don't worry, Derek, I made sure not to tag you in anything. Your precious reputation is safe. That's when I realized Derek's real motivation for trying to shut this down. He wasn't protecting me, he was protecting himself. You're worried about your job, aren't you? I asked him. Jessica's smart enough not to implicate you directly, but if this gets back to your company. Derek's guilty expression confirmed my suspicion. He worked in medical device sales, another conservative industry where this kind of drama could end careers. We need to go, he said to Maya. Right now. But Maya was staring at her phone in horror. Emma, I think I messed up really bad. Emma's voice through the speaker was grim, what now? Jessica just posted something new. About our plan. She's telling everyone that Derek and I have been plotting this for months. My hands went cold as I opened Instagram again, dreading what I'd find. We all stared at Maya's phone in horrified silence as she pulled up Jessica's latest post. The video was even worse than I'd feared. Jessica, now clearly drunk, was sitting on what looked like a couch surrounded by empty wine bottles and at least 3 other people I didn't recognize. So here's the tea nobody asked for, Jessica slurred into the camera, her makeup smudged and her voice getting louder with each word. My boyfriend Derek and his new girl Maya have been planning this wedding crash for literally months. Like, they have a whole group chat called Operation Reality Check where they've been scheming about how to ruin Princess Sarah's big day. My legs gave out, and I sank into the velvet chair by the window. A group chat. They've created an actual group chat dedicated to destroying my wedding. Operation Reality Check, Jake repeated, his voice hollow. They named their plan to humiliate my wife. Jessica's video continued, and I watched in mounting horror as she held up printed screenshots, not just of my text messages, but of what looked like detailed notes about my family members, my work schedule, even my wedding vendor appointments. Maya's been playing detective for weeks, Jessica continued, clearly enjoying herself. She found out Sarah's flower delivery time, her hair appointment, when the photographer would arrive, they timed Derek's entrance for maximum dramatic impact. Oh, and Maya's been keeping a whole document about which relatives hate drama and which ones live for it, so they knew exactly who to perform in front of. Brett grabbed the phone from Maya's hands. How many people are in this group chat? Just Derek, Jessica, and me, Maya whispered. And maybe Connor. Connor? My voice cracked. Your ex-boyfriend Connor who's already commenting on the posts? How many people did you recruit to humiliate me? He wasn't supposed to get involved. Jessica added him without telling me because she thought it would be funny to have more witnesses. Emma's voice came through the speaker, tight with anger. Maya, please tell me you didn't involve Connor Mitchell. The same Connor who posted revenge videos about you when you broke up 2 years ago. My blood ran cold. What revenge videos? Connor runs a TikTok account called Crazy Ex Chronicles, Emma explained reluctantly. When he and Maya broke up, he posted a whole series about what he called her psycho family drama and how she was obsessed with competing with her perfect cousin. I felt like I was drowning. He's been posting about me for 2 years? Not by name, Maya said quickly. He just called you the golden child cousin and talked about how I was always comparing myself to you. Until now, Jenna said grimly, showing us her phone. Connor just posted a new TikTok 20 minutes ago called When Your Ex's Cousin Finally Gets What's Coming. It already has 8,000 views. Jake was pacing the small space like a caged animal. This is insane. There are strangers on the internet who know more about my wife's personal life than I do, all because you decided to weaponize her private information. Derek finally hung up with Jessica, his face pale. She won't delete anything. She says it's too good and she's finally famous. The video about our plan has been shared 300 times in the last 20 minutes. Because you gave her ammunition, my dad said coldly. You handed her 3 months worth of private information about my daughter and expected her to use it responsibly? Maya's phone buzzed with a text. She glanced at it and immediately started crying harder. Connor wants to do a live TikTok together about exposing fake family dynamics. He says people are asking for more details about the cousin he used to talk about. Absolutely not, Emma's voice crackled through the speaker. Maya, do not respond to Connor. Do not go live with anyone. You need to get off social media right now and figure out how to fix this. But as I sat there listening to my family argue about damage control, I realized something that chilled me to the bone. This wasn't just about one ruined wedding day anymore. Jessica, Connor, and God knew who else now had enough personal information about me to make my life hell for months or even years to come. They had my work information, my daily routines, my family dynamics, my relationship history, and my private communications. They'd turned me into internet entertainment, and there was no putting that genie back in the bottle. We need to call the police, I said quietly. Everyone stopped talking and turned to look at me. Sarah, I know you're upset, but, Derek started. No, I cut him off. You've stolen my private communications, shared them without consent, coordinated a harassment campaign involving multiple people across multiple platforms, and Jessica just admitted on video that you've been stalking my schedule and personal life for months. That's not a wedding prank. That's criminal. Maya looked terrified. You wouldn't really call the cops on your own cousin. I met her eyes directly. Try me. My threat to call the police hung in the air like a loaded weapon. Maya's face had gone completely white, and even Derek looked genuinely scared for the first time all day. Sarah, let's think about this rationally, Derek said, using that condescending tone that used to make me doubt myself. Calling the police would just make this whole situation bigger than it needs to be. Bigger? I stood up, my wedding dress rustling with barely contained fury. Derek, there are strangers on TikTok analyzing my personal life for entertainment. Jessica just told 43,000 people that I'm a fake, controlling bridezilla. My work account is being bombarded with comments that could cost me my career. How exactly could this get bigger? That's when my phone rang with a call that made my heart stop. Patricia Morrison, boss. The bridal suite fell silent as everyone stared at my phone screen. Patricia Morrison, the founder and CEO of Morrison & Associates, was calling me at 7:47 p.m. on a Saturday. On my wedding day. Answer it, Jake said quietly. You need to get ahead of whatever she's seen. With trembling fingers, I accepted the call and put it on speaker. Hi Patricia, this is Sarah. Sarah, I'm sorry to bother you on your wedding day, but I've received some very concerning messages through our company Instagram account. Patricia's voice was crisp and professional, giving nothing away. Several people have tagged us in some rather inflammatory posts about one of our employees. I assume this is regarding you? My mouth went completely dry. Yes, ma'am. There's been a situation with some family members that's gotten out of hand on social media. I see. Well, I've spent the last hour reviewing these posts and the associated comments. Some of our clients follow our company account, Sarah. Mrs. Henderson from Henderson Real Estate specifically called me to ask if Morrison & Associates employs unstable individuals who create public spectacles. Maya made a small whimpering sound, and I wanted to strangle her with my bare hands. Patricia, I can explain everything, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. This situation was orchestrated by people trying to deliberately sabotage my wedding. None of the things being said online represent my actual character or my commitment to our company. Be that as it may, Sarah, we have a reputation to maintain. I'm going to need you to resolve this social media situation immediately. Every post, every comment, every video needs to be addressed by Monday morning, or we'll need to discuss your future with the company. My career, 5 years of building my reputation, climbing from assistant to senior marketing coordinator, the job I'd worked 60-hour weeks to earn was hanging by a thread because of Maya's jealousy and Derek's vindictiveness. I understand, Patricia. I'll handle it. Good. And Sarah? I suggest you consider whether the people in your personal life are compatible with your professional aspirations. Some relationships aren't worth maintaining if they jeopardize your career. The call ended, leaving us in suffocating silence. Well, I said, my voice eerily calm, congratulations. You've officially destroyed not just my wedding day, but potentially my entire career. Derek shifted uncomfortably. Look, I'm sure your boss will calm down once this all blows over. Blows over? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Derek, Jessica just posted a video detailing your months-long harassment campaign to her 43,000 followers. Connor's making TikToks about my family drama for his audience. Complete strangers are analyzing my personality and calling my husband basic. This isn't blowing over. This is my life now, thanks to you. Maya finally found her voice. Sarah, I'll delete everything. I'll call Jessica and make her take down all the posts. I'll tell Connor to stop. You think Jessica's going to listen to you now? Brett interrupted. She's gone viral, Maya. This is the most attention she's ever gotten online. She's not deleting anything. As if summoned by his words, Maya's phone buzzed with a notification. Jessica had just posted another video, this one titled Part 2, Why Derek's Ex Deserved This Reality Check. I closed my eyes, feeling the walls of my carefully built life crumbling around me. When I opened them again, I knew exactly what I had to do. I'm done, I said quietly, picking up my phone. Jake, can you ask your groomsmen to escort Derek and Maya out of the hotel? I have some calls to make. Sarah, wait, Maya pleaded, mascara streaking down her cheeks. Let me fix this first. I can make Jessica. You can't fix this, I cut her off. But I can. My first call was to my college roommate Rachel, who worked as a social media manager for a crisis communications firm in Chicago. She answered on the second ring. Rachel, it's Sarah. I need professional help, and I need it tonight. 20 minutes later, I was back at the reception with a plan. Rachel had connected me with her firm's emergency response team, who were already documenting every post, comment, and video for a potential legal case. More importantly, they'd identified something Jessica and Connor had missed in their rush to go viral. Ladies and gentlemen, I said, taking the microphone from the DJ. The reception fell quiet, 200 faces turning toward me with curiosity and concern. I need to address something that's happening on social media tonight. I spotted my extended family scattered throughout the crowd, aunts, uncles, cousins, and grandparents who had no idea their evening had been turned into internet entertainment. Some of you may have seen posts about me and Jake on Instagram or TikTok tonight. I want you to hear the truth directly from me before you see any more lies. My voice carried clearly through the reception hall sound system. In the back, I could see hotel security quietly escorting Derek and Maya toward the exit, but Maya kept looking back, her face stricken. My cousin Maya Morrison and my ex-boyfriend Derek Chin spent the last 3 months planning to sabotage our wedding. They created a group chat called Operation Reality Check, coordinated with Derek's girlfriend Jessica Williams, and documented my personal information to use against me tonight. Gasps rippled through the crowd. My grandmother Rose, seated at the family table, looked confused and upset. They went through my personal phone without permission, recorded me without consent, and shared my private text messages with strangers on the internet. What started as family drama has become a coordinated harassment campaign that's now threatening my career. I paused, looking directly at my family members scattered throughout the room. Maya, if you're still in the building, I want you to know that my crisis communications team has screenshots of everything, including Connor Mitchell's previous TikToks about our family that date back 2 years. They've also identified that Jessica Williams posted some of her content while intoxicated, which violates Instagram's community guidelines. Her account is being reported as we speak. The crowd murmured, processing this information. I saw several relatives pulling out their phones, probably searching for the posts I'd mentioned. But here's what Jessica and Connor didn't consider, I continued, feeling stronger with each word. Jessica's video where she admits to a coordinated harassment plan? That's evidence of conspiracy to cause emotional distress. Connor's decision to monetize his harassment with TikTok views? That's documented intent to profit from defamation. My dad gave me an encouraging nod from his table. Jake stood beside the DJ booth, his expression proud despite everything we'd been through. So Maya, Derek, Jessica, and Connor, since I know at least one of you is probably watching this on someone's Instagram story, you have until noon tomorrow to remove every post, video, and comment about me and my family. After that, my legal team files restraining orders and pursues criminal charges for harassment, invasion of privacy, and cyberstalking. The reception was dead silent now. To everyone else, I said, my voice softening, thank you for being here tonight despite the chaos. Jake and I refused to let other people's jealousy and cruelty overshadow our celebration. I handed the microphone back to the DJ and walked directly to my grandmother's table. Grandma Rose, are you okay? She squeezed my hand with surprising strength. That girl always was trouble, Sarah. But you handled that beautifully. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This isn't over. I showed it to Jake, who immediately called hotel security. The war was just beginning. Within an hour of my public announcement, my phone was buzzing with messages from numbers I didn't recognize. Most were supportive, distant relatives and family friends who'd seen the drama unfold online and wanted to offer help. But buried among them were increasingly hostile texts from people clearly aligned with Derek and Jessica's campaign. You think lawyers scare us? This is just the beginning. Bridezilla thinks she's untouchable now, LMAO. Can't wait to see what else Jessica posts tomorrow. Jake was coordinating with hotel security to trace the harassment messages while I worked with Rachel's crisis team remotely. They'd already gotten Jessica's most damaging video removed from Instagram for violating community guidelines around targeted harassment, but the screenshots were spreading faster than we could contain them. Sarah, my maid of honor Jenna appeared at my elbow with her laptop open. You need to see this. Connor just went live on TikTok, and he's got over 2,000 people watching. I reluctantly looked at her screen where Connor was sitting in what appeared to be his bedroom, wearing a backwards baseball cap and talking directly to the camera with a kind of smug confidence that made my skin crawl. So apparently Princess Sarah thinks she can sue people for telling the truth, Connor was saying, reading comments as they scrolled by. Someone just sent me her little wedding speech where she threatened legal action. Girl, this is America, we have free speech here. The comment section was moving so fast I could barely read individual messages, but I caught enough to see that public opinion was split. Some viewers were calling Connor out for harassment, but others were encouraging him to expose more tea about our family. Here's what Sarah doesn't want you to know, Connor continued, clearly enjoying his moment of internet fame. Maya told me years ago that Sarah's parents basically bought her way through college. Full scholarship my ass, her dad made some phone calls and suddenly poor little Sarah gets a free ride while everyone else drowns in student loans. That's not true, I said, but my voice sounded weak even to myself. My scholarship had been merit-based, earned through 4 years of maintaining a 4.2 GPA while working part-time at the campus library. But Connor wasn't done. Oh, and that fancy marketing job she's so worried about losing? Maya said Sarah's been sleeping with her married boss for 2 years. That's how she got promoted so fast. My blood turned to ice. He's making that up. Patricia Morrison is a 60-year-old woman, and I've never had anything but a professional relationship with anyone at my company. Jake's face was murderous. This is defamation. This is actual, prosecutable defamation. But the damage was already spreading. Connor's viewers were screen recording his live stream, and I could see the clip count climbing as people shared his lies across multiple platforms. Within minutes, hashtag Princess Sarah was trending on TikTok with over 50,000 posts. Jenna refreshed the hashtag feed, and we watched in horror as complete strangers dissected my life with the casual cruelty that only internet anonymity could provide. People were analyzing photos from my company's website, speculating about my relationship with Patricia Morrison, and creating elaborate theories about how I'd supposedly cheated my way through college and into my career. They're calling Morrison and Associates, Jake said grimly, reading something on his phone. Someone just posted Patricia Morrison's direct office line encouraging people to let her know what kind of employee she's really got. My wedding day had become a viral harassment campaign, and there was no end in sight. My hands were shaking so violently I could barely hold my phone as I watched the harassment campaign against my employer escalate in real time. Jake had to steady my arm as I tried to call Patricia Morrison's emergency line, praying I could reach her before Monday morning brought a flood of angry calls to our office. Sarah, I've been monitoring the situation. Patricia's voice was tense when she answered. My personal assistant just called our main office line has received 37 calls in the last 2 hours. Most went to voicemail, but the few Margaret answered were concerning. What did they say? Accusations about your hiring practices, your work performance, and some rather graphic speculations about your relationship with me personally. Patricia's professional composure cracked slightly. Sarah, I've been in business for 25 years, and I've never had strangers call my office to discuss an employee's alleged sexual conduct. I felt like I was going to be sick. Patricia, everything they're saying is fabricated. Connor Mitchell is Maya's ex-boyfriend. He's never even met me. He's making up lies to get views on TikTok. I understand that, but perception matters in our industry. The Henderson account alone represents 15% of our annual revenue, and Mrs. Henderson is extremely conservative about who she'll work with. Before I could respond, Jenna thrust her laptop at me again. Sarah, it's getting worse. Someone found your college transcripts. That's impossible. Student records are confidential. But there on Connor's TikTok feed was a screenshot of what appeared to be my university transcript, showing my grades from sophomore year. The image quality was poor and some information was clearly doctored, but it looked authentic enough to fool casual viewers. Where the hell did he get that? Jake demanded. Connor's voice continued through the laptop speakers. See, here's proof that Princess Sarah wasn't actually the academic genius she pretends to be. Look at these grades from spring 2018. She was barely passing until suddenly, mysteriously, her GPA shot up junior year. Right around the time her dad started making major donations to the Alumni Association. My father has never donated anything to State University beyond the $20 alumni sticker on his car, I said, but I was talking to empty air. Connor had thousands of people hanging on his every word. The transcript screenshot was fake, I could tell because it showed me taking advanced statistics in spring 2018, when I'd actually taken that course fall semester junior year. But the details were close enough that anyone who didn't know my actual academic history would believe it. How is he getting this information? I asked desperately. Even if Maya told him about my college experience, she wouldn't know my specific course schedules. That's when my phone rang with a call that made my stomach drop. Maya Morrison. Don't answer it, Jake said immediately. But something in my gut told me this call was important. Against everyone's advice, I picked up and put it on speaker. Sarah, oh God, Sarah, I'm so sorry. Maya's voice was thick with tears and panic. Connor's lost his mind. He's posting things I never told him. He's making stuff up and saying it came from me. What do you mean he's making stuff up? The college transcript, the thing about your boss, I never said any of that. He's creating fake evidence and telling people I gave him the information. I think he's trying to destroy both of us. Through the phone, I could hear shouting in the background. Male voices arguing, something crashing. Maya, where are you? I'm at Connor's apartment trying to get him to stop, but he's completely out of control. Sarah, I think he's been planning this longer than any of us realized. He has files on his computer about you going back 3 years. This isn't just about tonight, he's been obsessed with you since I started complaining about you in college. The line went dead, and I realized our family nightmare had just become something much more dangerous. The police arrived at Connor's apartment 17 minutes after Maya's call went dead. I know because I was frantically refreshing the emergency dispatch app while Jake drove us to Connor's complex at speeds that definitely violated several traffic laws. Ma'am, you need to stay in the vehicle, Officer Martinez told me as we pulled up behind 3 SWAT cars with flashing lights. This is an active domestic disturbance call. But through Connor's second-floor window, I could see the glow of his ring light still broadcasting live. Even as police pounded on his door, he was still streaming, still spreading lies about my family to his growing audience of internet trolls. 26 minutes later, the officers emerged with Connor in handcuffs and Maya with a split lip and what looked like the beginning of a black eye. He completely lost it when I tried to delete the fake transcript from his computer, Maya told the paramedic examining her face. Started screaming that I was just like you, thinking I could control everything and everyone. That's when he shoved me into his desk. Detective Rodriguez approached us with Connor's laptop bag. Ms. Chen, we're going to need you to document everything you can remember about the harassment campaign. Mr. Mitchell had folders on his computer labeled with your name dating back to 2021. This appears to be an escalated stalking case. 3 days later, I was back at work fielding the aftermath. Patricia Morrison had spent Monday morning personally calling every client who'd heard about the weekend's drama, explaining that I'd been the victim of a coordinated cyberstalking campaign. The crisis communications firm had compiled a 37-page report documenting every fake post, doctored image, and fabricated claim. Connor Mitchell has been charged with cyberstalking, harassment, and assault, I told my coworkers during our team meeting. Jessica Williams deleted all her social media accounts after her employer saw the harassment videos. And Derek. I paused, savoring this particular detail. Derek got fired when his medical device company decided they couldn't have someone involved in a viral harassment campaign representing their products to hospitals. The Henderson account stayed with Morrison and Associates. Connor's TikTok account was permanently banned after the platform discovered he'd been using fake documents. Jessica's Instagram followers plummeted when people realized she'd been manipulated by an actual stalker. But the most satisfying resolution came 6 weeks later, when Maya appeared at my apartment door with a manila envelope and red-rimmed eyes. The restraining order hearings are next week, she said quietly. Connor's lawyer wants to plea bargain. He's looking at 2 years if this goes to trial. I took the envelope, which contained printed screenshots of Connor's computer files, hundreds of photos of me scraped from social media, detailed notes about my daily routines, and what appeared to be a manifesto about entitled women who need to be humbled. Sarah, I know I don't deserve forgiveness, Maya continued. But I need you to know, I never wanted it to go this far. I was jealous and bitter, and I let Connor manipulate that into something dangerous. You're right, I said simply. You don't deserve forgiveness. But Connor deserves prison. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. For what it's worth, your wedding was beautiful. Even with everything that happened, you looked happy. Really happy. I closed the door and leaned against it, holding the evidence of a 3-year stalking campaign that had finally been stopped. My marriage had survived. My career had survived. And Connor Mitchell would be spending the next few years learning that actions have consequences. Sometimes the best revenge is simply letting terrible people destroy themselves.